this video today we're making two simple wire wrapped herkimer diamond rings. This one here is a super simple one with just one wire wrap around, holding that beautiful little herkimer diamond crystal in place in the center there. Really simple design, just letting that herkimer diamond crystal be the showpiece of the ring. Then we've got this one here which still showcases our herkimer crystal really nicely, but it has a little bit more wire with two wraps around the band and then the wire secured on each side of the crystal, holding it in place. This one has the full circle for the ring and then the crystal sits on top of the actual ring, out of the way of your finger. First up, we're going to make this really dainty little single wire wrap ring. We've got these beautiful little herkimer diamonds which are drilled through the middle. Genuine herkimer diamonds come from Herkimer County in New York, and they are naturally formed with 18 facets and a double point, so a point on each end. You can use a whiteboard marker or ring mandrel for forming your ring around. And I've got my jewellery tools and a ruler. For this first simple ring we only need about 4 inches of our 20 gauge dead soft silver wire. So I measure and cut that to length, and then we can pop our little herkimer diamond onto the wire. You want your little crystal sitting exactly in the middle of the wire, and we're going to put a gentle bend on each side. So just pushing it on both sides there to form an upside down V shape. That's going to stop it sliding along the wire. I'm using a whiteboard marker here that's about the size of a finger. So I'm just placing it onto the marker, and I'm going to wrap both ends of the wire around the marker, making sure it crosses over at the back. And that little herkimer is going to sit raised off the pen there so that you've got room for your finger. And you want to just check the size of your ring now. You want to make sure it's about the right size to fit whichever finger you want to wear it on, and you can adjust it accordingly. I'm sizing it for this finger here. You can poke these wires here just to adjust that size a little bit, or pull it inwards if you need your ring to be smaller. Now to secure this band in place, we're going to grab it with our pliers there where it crosses over. Right in the middle I grab the wires, and then I can bend one wire up over the other wire at a 90-degree angle. Then we can swap our pliers onto the other side, and with this other wire bend it the opposite way over the other wire. So you can see there it's made a little twist connection in the middle there. If you can see that. Now we're just going to gently hold the ring and bend each wire around the band, and that's going to secure it in place. So I just start on one tail and I'm just gently bending this wire around the band of the ring, working with the wire really gently so that I can bend it around in a nice, neat and tidy way. I like to wrap it around at least 2 times on a delicate dainty ring like this. 2 looks great and seems to be enough to hold it secure. Just being really gentle not to pull your ring out of shape, but you do want these loops around to be nice and tight. Once you've wrapped it around your 2 full loops, you can cut your little tail off nice and short so that you can bring that end onto the inside of your ring there and have the end on the inside. And crimp it down nice and tight so there's no sharp edges. Now we can swap our ring onto the other side, and we're going to do the same 2 wraps around the band there with our wire tail, bringing it around nice and tight and tidy. Once you've done your 2 full loops around, you can cut that little tail off nice and close so that it can sit on the inside of your ring there, and crimp it down nice and tight. So you should have a nice even join there. Just making sure your band's nice and straight and it's all sitting in that nice shape. It's sort of a little bit like a teardrop shape, I guess, with that herkimer sitting up on the point, and it's also held in place so it's not going to slide along. So there's your super simple little herkimer diamond wire wrapped ring. Now moving on to the second herkimer diamond ring. So this one's a little bit more complex than that first one, but it's still quite a simple design. We're using about 9 inches of our 20 gauge dead soft silver wire. So I just measure that out and cut it to length. I'm sorry my camera's a bit out of focus here for a minute. You can use a marker or something about the size of a finger or a ring mandrel for this one, it doesn't matter. But we start out by just choosing our herkimer diamond that we're going to use. I found this one that has a really cute little teeny tiny little crystal point there. I'm not sure if you can see it, but I'm going to use that one on my ring and have that one pointing upwards. First up, you want to thread it on and you want it sitting right in the center of your wire. Then we just gently bend the wire down on each side. So that holds that little crystal in place so it can't slide anywhere. Nice little bend on each side of the crystal. Now we can wrap this wire around either your ring mandrel or your marker pen that you're using. I'm using my ring mandrel without the groove for this one. You always size it up, so I'm making about a size 8 and it will finish up about a 7.5. So if you're using a marker pen, when you size it onto your finger, you need to make sure it's a little bit bigger. Now I'm holding my wire on nice and firmly in the middle there, and I'm just wrapping it around both sides. So you want your wire not to overlap anywhere, but you're bringing it the whole way around and back to where the crystal is. And then bringing it past the crystal on either side as well. This design has your crystal sitting above the band for the circle of the ring. That keeps your crystal up off your finger as well. We can take our ring off the mandrel now, or off your marker, and we're going to bring each tail across the band on either side of the crystal. So the wire comes around in the same circular shape as the band, just under the crystal there. And once it's come past the crystal, we're going to bring this wire over the top of the 2 wires on the side. Just bend it across on the top and we're going to wrap it around the band on the side there. I like to hold the band wires nice and firm as I do this. It helps to keep them nice and flat and together. This little tail might be a little bit long, so I'll just snip the end off there to make it more manageable. I find it's easiest to work from the end of the wire there, so I just gently bend it around so that it comes inside the ring. And we can bring this wire around 2 full loops so that it can secure that end in place. Try and make sure your loops are nice and tight and tidy, and also that these wires for the ring band are sitting next to each other and nothing's crossed over. Once you've done your 2 laps around, you can cut your little tail off, bend it upwards and cut it off nice and short so that you can crimp it in on the underside of the ring. Nice and tight, making sure there's no sharp edges, and also just making sure that that band is flat with the wires sitting next to each other. Once you've secured one side of the ring there, it's a good time to just work with your wires and check all your wires over and just make sure they're sitting how you like them and that your crystal's in the right spot. It's a good time to do it before you secure the other side on. You can use the same design for wire wrapping a bunch of different rings. So I use it for gemstone beads and also other little points or rough crystal chips or something like that. So have a play around with what you like. Now to wrap the second side. So just remember this wire comes right around in a full circle for the band. It comes around just under the crystal there. Then we're going to gently bend this wire over the top of those wires on the side there, forming the band. We're trying to match this twist up with the twist that's on the other side so that your ring looks nice and even. My tail's a little bit long on this side too, so I'll just cut that off a little bit shorter to make it easier. Then we can bend this wire from the end, just gently wrapping it around, bringing it inside the ring there. Trying to make your wraps around even with the other side as well. So if you did 2 wraps on the other side, you want to do 2 wraps here. Making sure those 2 wires on the band stay nice and flat, and you're just bringing that tail around nice and tight and tidy. So there's my second lap around. So I just lift that little tail up, then I can snip it off nice and short and make sure it's crimped down nice and tight. Now you can take some time with your pliers and check over all your wires, making sure it's all sitting nicely in how you like it and the ring's sitting evenly and symmetrical. But there's your second simple wire wrapped herkimer diamond ring.